Welcome to the Microsoft Cloud Option webinar series. My name is Vivek Bhatnagar. I am a CTO and founder for UnifyCloud. Okay, so let's look at some of these technologies which we have, or some of these services. Again, objective is not to go very deep. It's to give you an idea that how you can, once you modernize, what options you will be available. So, for example, like if you are modernizing with the eye on edge devices or disconnected scenario or a private hybrid cloud, then Azure Stack, Azure Sphere, Azure Kinet, HoloLens, and Arc. These are the main technologies, and we will look at some of these technologies at least one more detail, and then serverless technologies, and finally support through the tooling and other aspect of it. One technology which is actually one of the very revolutionary from Microsoft is Microsoft Arc. This announced only last year. This is for customer who want to simplify their complex and distributed environment across like on-premise, edge, and multi-cloud. And so it is making Azure service deployment and their management as a centralized thing. So you can actually run, for example, your SQL Azure services maybe on-premise and then manage it through cloud, or you can run it like as a container on the edge, and you can basically connect to the Azure Hub or Azure HCI. So this picture actually sums up very nicely that what's the use of Azure Arc, and this is what Microsoft Azure strategy, like it is one of the most important component of Microsoft hybrid strategy. Although they have like Azure Stack and other aspect of things, then you have Edge and other thing, but actually this Azure Arc make it possible to run all these things even in a disconnected fashion, but still manage using Azure. So it's very innovative technology, and it's very useful to do innovation. Similarly, we have serverless technologies in Azure, which are very easy to use and very cost effective. Azure App Services, the Azure Function, and Azure Kubernetes Services. That looks a little bit more detail about these. Azure App Services, one of my favorite. Like you can take any .NET, Java web application, and you can bring it uh, to Azure as app service, and then it become fully scalable. Its monitoring is built in, is application diagnosis built in. So everything is becoming very easy. Like it's kind of a managed application services for you. You can scale your application very quickly, or you can actually bring it back very quickly. It will generate a lot of cost efficiencies. Your security is automatically managed. Your monitoring is already configured. Your configuration are in place. So a lot of help from Microsoft or Azure in this aspect. So I do recommend always to look at app services when you migrate to Azure or to modernize to Azure. Similarly, Azure Functions, which is like again a very popular concept to build microservices or to build a event-driven serverless compute. If you want to like build like some of the triggers and other things, is very useful and very easy to use concept. You can actually convert a lot of complex monolithic application using Azure Function into better things. Azure Kubernetes Service is the most popular service on Microsoft Azure. So Kubernetes is hugely popular, and majority of customers talked about moving to Azure Kubernetes services as container. Again, like it has all advantage of a container as a service, give you a better DevOps, give you a microservice-based architecture, and help you to run multiple platforms very easily. So these are like are very popular and very useful service to go. We have a couple of more slides as we go forward to give you a way that how do we architect these. Mm. Then we have something called Azure Operational Database Services. Azure has very strong database offerings, and the main thing is Azure is a combination of a SQL, their own service, but it also support the same way the open source. So for example, Azure database for PostgreSQL. It is one of the most scalable PostgreSQL implementation available today in industry. They have Azure database, Postgres, Hyperscale, and all. Similarly, we have Azure database for MySQL or Azure database for MariaDB, and we have Cosmos DB, and they keep adding more and more services or different licensing schemes available, which you can use to drive your innovation. Azure AI again, like it's a huge, a very it's a very vast area where you have to give Azure AI. The best part of Microsoft Azure AI, they are making You don't need a PhD to use AI, to put in simply. Like they're making it very, very easy to build a machine learning model, how to train your models, how to apply different algorithm. And even you are not very good in mathematics, you can still apply, you can still understand what kind of algorithm you want to use, and then predict your, train your model and then predict things. And you can use AI to as an integrated fashion. So you can integrate with your applications, you can integrate your definitely your other aspect of knowledge and other things. So it's very good implementation which we have with Azure AI here, built for everyone.